behalf of TCS Ion, I welcome you all to the talk show on the topic, the impact of just-in-time inventory management, JIT, for auto component industry. So before I introduce today's expert analyst and speaker, Mr. Jaykumar, I will just give an overview on the topic that we are discussing today. In today's competitive global business environment, the goal of all manufacturing systems is to survive the long term. Survival of manufacturing in an increasingly competitive market will depend on its ability to produce the best quality at the lowest possible price and in a timely manner within the shortest delivery timelines. Moreover, these goals must be achieved by paying greater respect to the staff who operate the system. It is not hard to build quality, but it becomes extremely difficult to do so while maintaining excellent quality. A just-in-time approach is able to achieve all the objectives above. Just-in-time, on the basis of quality management, integrates basic management techniques, existing improvement efforts, and technical tools. This approach focuses on long-term benefits due to the elimination of waste and continuous improvement of systems, programs, products, and people. It has an important influence on quality control, purchasing, and on culture. But this approach requires factories to keep inventories of finished goods, because even a small problem in the supply chain and small errors on defective goods can increase the production to stop. So in this session, we will understand from our expert in detail the impact of JIT, inventory management for auto component industry. So today we have with us Mr. Jaykumar, and it's my pleasure and honor to welcome our guest and expert speaker, Mr. Jaykumar. Mr. Jaykumar is the Vice President at Bosch. He's heading the purchasing for mobility divisions in India. He is responsible for strategic sourcing, supplier development, material cost management, quality, and delivery. He is also responsible for providing India supplier market for export to Bosch worldwide. He has 35 years of experience in manufacturing, purchasing, supply chain design, development of right entrepreneurs to be competitive suppliers, passion to bring in state-of-the-art technology to reduce cost and investment, continuous market intelligence to get the best from the market. Mr. Jaykumar has a degree in mechanical engineering from Madras University. So once again, it's our pleasure to have Mr. Jaykumar with us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jaykumar.
Thank you, Dev. Thank you, Rahul. And thank you also TCS Ion for inviting me for this session.
Good, sir. Our pleasure.
Yeah.
To move on and discuss the topic more in detail, we have a few questions, and we will take it up with you and then request your responses and your details on the questions. So the first question I have, Mr. Jaykumar, is, with your wide experience, can you share your thoughts on the impact of JIT in the inventory management for auto component industry?
Yeah, important question. There, basically, when we see this just in time, we should go back to the history, how it got really evolved. Necessity, as we say, necessity is the mother of invention. After the World War, everybody knows the Japanese industry was completely in shambles, and Japan, with a small island, they do not have the natural resources. And the kind of automotive industry which was developing elsewhere in the world, like in US or in Europe, with the huge mass production processes, Japan was not able to really see that level of possibilities. Holding huge inventories and production processes never been possible in order to come up. And they brought in this concept called just in time, which is evolved over a period by Toyota with the Toyota production system. This is really a philosophy, if you ask me, has to be really understood at top-down level, at every level. We have to have a clear idea about just-in-time, what exactly it means, a clear vision connected to the company's vision. And it is applicable not only the automotive industries, but for all the industry spectrum. But auto industries, the first one to embrace this, and every OEM company has brought in their own way this just-in-time concept into various aspects. Bosch is one of those early adopters. Starting from 1970 to I would say till 1990. This was always a Toyota production system. Japan was leading, and nobody was really able to catch up very strongly. And whoever caught up also was not clearly understanding what exactly mean by just-in-time. When it comes to that, that's where Bosch is really picked up with the clear Bosch production system concept and had a clear vision, like what we call our vision statement as invented for life. We also have a vision for creating just-in-time. So this talks about very clearly we fascinate our customers, not just delivering the goods, but we fascinate by delivering at the competitive level and as well as just on time without any waste. This is how the whole concept vision was developed on this just-in-time, and then it really have enormous amount of impact in the whole process of how we collaborate, how we approach these processes inside a bigger organization, and then how we really have developed the principles for various layers of the organizations, and the end result is something which we have to see later, but that is where the whole process of when we talk about collaboration really goes cutting across, starting from tier end suppliers, starting from the ore suppliers to steel manufacturing to the tier one supplier, talking about the turning or machining or forging or getting into the electromechanical components, electronics, and then finally assembly into a product, manufacturing in company like Bosch or any other companies, and finally delivering to the customer. So it covers the manufacturing aspect, logistics aspects, and finally to the customer, end customer. So everywhere, what is the kind of waste and how do we really minimize the waste? And how do we really minimize the waste in production processes, in storing processes, and also the quality defects, what comes along with that. And so with that, we really have a huge impact in the entire organizations. So this is not only reduces the overhead expenses in every company, and it improves enormous amount of quality. The focus on quality improves in every stage of the manufacturing processes. And then it also brings down the inventory level at every processes. So it doesn't mean that we have to bring it to zero inventory. We have to talk about certain minimum level of inventory at process stage wise. If it is a continuous mass production processes, maybe not, but if it is a batch production process, you have to go accordingly. So Bosch really well defined through scientific processes and calculated levels of inventory management at every process stages. Finally, at customer level, based on the need, it gets into the inventory level. So this today, I manage around 300 suppliers in India, and then also I import from elsewhere in the world around 600 suppliers to India. My local content is close to 70%. So of my purchasing volume of 2,500 crores, with this 350 suppliers, I'm talking about 70% local volumes. I today get close to 1 million components to 9 plants across India. And that gets delivered onto 3-shift basis. That means they have milk runs which is running across entire value chain just in time with a clear defined inventory in the plant. Even in the COVID time, I don't know, the impact is very high in the COVID times where we have to create little higher inventory, but again, it is just in time. It is running very smoothly, and we are able to reduce with this clearly the entire space, the storage space for the entire input components as well as finished components, we had close to, when we started this process, we had close to 24 warehouses across for the finished goods in India. That we brought it down to less than 12 across India for all our products for delivering to the entire automotive industries in India. So this is something key deliverables when it comes to just in time. So when you adapt this top down as a philosophy and approach at every level, today when I go to any of my suppliers, I walk across just not like that, but I straight away insist them, go to the KPI tree, which is clearly defined by the supplier, says these are all my KPI for talking about the Bosch production system adapting to the value stream of what Bosch's components manufactured. And for that value stream, process by process, I will go through the inventories, I will see how the quality levels I see. So the suppliers are really adapting to that very highly. So this has created enormous amount of awareness. So that's the impact where the knowledge awareness and the cost awareness, there is a proverb always, basically every paisa counts. This is the basic philosophy when it comes to just in time. So this is applied across Bosch worldwide on 250 plants. So the same philosophy applied, and we have approximately 3,800 suppliers across worldwide for all the plants combined for direct materials, which is getting delivered. Some of them which is getting delivered to the plant, some of them be full, and all applies in the same philosophy of just in time. So this would follow our Bosch production system. So even the MD or the president of the company, when it goes into the shop floor of Bosch, he goes into the shop floor with a clear KPI and then walks through the entire system. Only one value stream he will see, and he will be able to understand, okay, how the system is adapted. So the top-down system is so high and methodical that yields phenomenally the inventory reduction. We can't say that we have reached a benchmark level. I would say Toyota today, the benchmark level with the inventory of close to only 12 to 15 days inventory from raw material to the end products. That's what the KPI claims. Bosch is approximately around 45 days from start to end, but we are working on to bring it down less than 30 days. This is where we see huge benefit to the end customers. And finally, we wanted to make sure that we are reducing systematically the wastages in the system. So this is today I breathe with all our suppliers across India. So every one of our suppliers are aware about this Bosch production system, little more deeper. So this is the kind of higher level of impact we created with our suppliers. Yeah.
Right. So you very well explained the whole concept of JIT and how Toyota, led this whole initiative in managing inventory, and now how Bosch is also trying to perfect the whole thing, how you are implementing it in Bosch in India. And so it was very informative. Thanks, Mr. Jayakumar, for this information. The next question I have, Mr. Jayakumar, is on the implementation issues. When a company in the auto component industry, when they want to implement JIT, what are the kind of issues and challenges that they face?
When we started this concept of Bosch production system, which is evolved from the JIT concept, the implementation issue starts with the top level, the CEO of any company, whether it is MSMEs or on a large scale companies. The belief in this that at leadership level is the bigger hurdle when we start that. So, you're out to really train. So we really devised a clear CEO training module to make them understand what is the importance of that and what is the benefit that finally the industry gains in the process. So CEO at leadership level and their mindset, conviction and motivation is very, very important. So this is the first phase where we see very clearly we faced a major hurdle almost when we started this activity 10 years ago. And even now, if you ask me, this is one of those important hurdles, because many of the CEOs come with a different purpose, different understanding, different way of managing a company. So we'll have to create that culture and make them understand. Then the various levels of organization to understand what it means to them when it comes to managing the system and the philosophy behind it. When they are not clear on the economic success of this JIT and what it means to them, they will not be able to really understand. So their count is always how much I am producing every day. So they are not aware what is the inventory they are piling up in front of the machine or back of the machine or in the corner of the machine. This is something which they don't understand, but it gets piled up. So this is something at a middle-level management, managers and the supervisor level, we have to bring that awareness. Anything which is lying in every corner, nook and corner as a waste is a waste, and that should be really understood and felt the pinch. That means they have to really understand that in the visible, transparent way, and that they are able to monitor on day in, day out. So for this process, what we call a system SIP. SIP is continuous improvement process, because this the whole thing of JIT cannot be implemented unless otherwise we create a systematic culture. So we call system SIP, and then we evolve on that. We work on the continuous value stream. That means a production part from raw material to the end, manufacturing end. So we call it as a value stream, and then we really map the value stream year on year. And then finalize very clearly what are all the system improvements which can be done at every manufacturing steps. So whether it is coming to the OEE improvement, whether it is quality improvement, or the inventory level improvement, single piece flow process, and those are all things which is basically creates an amount of impact, and that's where people don't really understand. So this is where you have to really explain clearly to the middle level people and the supervisor level people to bring an awareness. So in my experience, almost out of the 250 suppliers, the A suppliers I'm talking about developed focusedly for the last 10 years in almost all the value streams. So we had enormous amount of issues we faced. The awareness and the competence of the operators, start with why I should do on the methods, standard operating procedures, so-called SOPs, why I should do this way, and why I should really record all these data, why I should do so-called single piece flow instead of why I cannot carry multiple pieces to my own convenience, why I cannot, lift from bottom to top, like that operational issues. And then the supervisor level, you will face very clearly quite a lot of understanding on how to practice this, So it is a seamless process in the entire supply chain, and that you have to really bring it out to them and making them aware and making them understand. So this means basically systematic training to them. After the system SIP process, then you get into every day we call point SIP. The systematic process is after the system SIP, we identify the weak areas, we identify the potential improvement ideas, potential areas where we can improve, and then we get into the so-called point SIPs. That means every day at a specified time, the entire team has to join for the value stream and look at what are the KPIs which they have to really monitor for the entire cycle, let's say 1 quarter of the year. For the improvement areas, and then start looking at that. So in this process, always the transparency was a bigger area for a problem, and the competence is the bigger area of the problem. So you will face competency is the main hurdle by which you will really see such an amount of effort is required in the beginning phases. Once that is set, then you have to talk about how to sustain that. Because in the MSME sector, people attrition rate is very high. People get around 500 rupees or 1000 rupees jump. Immediately the operators will leave, the supervisors will leave. The belongingness like what in European countries or in Japan, where they join and they retire in the same company, whether it is big or small, that may not be there in MSME. So MSME, in order to really keep them and retain them, there is certain level of basic employability level and the practices every company has to talk about. It is not just only the salary part, but certain other benefits and perks. And that's where we enable them to make sure that the retainership part is really strengthened, that the employee likes the company, at least stays there for 4 to 5 years. So this would be a really challenge. 10 to 15% attrition we have to really expect in MSMEs, and start working on keeping on training them and developing them. So this is a major challenges. And the last most important part is the IT part. Every MSME do not have their own standard ITs. Some of them will operate with Excel, some of them will operate with SAP, some of them will operate with local software. So it will create enormous amount of inequalities, not in the way of methods, but in the way of transparencies. So if you want to have a shop floor level on the just-in-time philosophy, and you have to create a transparency across the entire supply chain. So the transparency part, IT plays a key role. So we start with what kind of IT tool they use, and then can we support them? Can we really bring in an awareness on how this can be enabled? Initially start with only the paper format, recording by manually entry, and then later transferring into the system part. So this is needs a systematic training and development of the supervisor level, operator level people, and then subsequently the higher level managers and the CEOs on how to review this systematically, how to enable them on the problem areas and identify and bring out ideas. This is the IT part, where transparency is going to be at most important when we talk about this in end-to-end supply chain. And finally, what we are talking about is also on automations. In the JIT philosophy, you also have to utilize certain amount of the Japanese culture of using the gravitational force, convert that into very less power or no power enabled automation systems, and that will move the components very smoothly from A to B to B to C very systematically. So you try and bring it out, the skill part, to reduce it with automation. So then you will be able to improve the JIT part on a very, very systematic way. So these are all the issues which we normally face during this Bosch production system implementation with all our suppliers.
Wonderful, sir. You've elaborated all the areas or challenges that are faced, starting from leadership buy-in. You started saying leadership buy-in is so critical, for this whole initiative to be successful. And then process-related issues, and then about the manpower and the attrition which happens in MSME organizations, and then of course the IT, which plays a big role in managing. So I think very good perspective. Cost of inventory itself is so huge. Inventory carrying cost is another large issue. So how critical JIT is to an auto component industry, particularly in MSME. I think you elucidated very well. Thanks so much for that explanation, Mr. Jayakumar. Moving on, keeping in mind that when we go in for such a large transformative initiative, Mr. Jayakumar, there will be a lot of risks involved. So what do you think are the risks involved in implementing JIT, particularly in MSMEs where the resources are not very large like Bosch? So what do you think are risks and how do you mitigate them?
The main risk in the last 10 years, which I have seen, because the auto component industry is always fluctuating business. It's a seasonal, and it's not well balanced throughout the year. The volume pick up by, for example, tractor industries suddenly during the rainy seasons, and just immediately before that it will be very high, and then it will go down. So the risks are mainly when we talk about this Bosch production systems. The fluctuations are going to be very high, and when we end up in developing the complete concept, we end up with a supermarket. At finally on the finished good sides. Let's say for the customers, OEM customers, when Bosch is delivering to Tata Motors or to Maruti Suzuki or to any other customers, I create a supermarket for customers. either near the customers or in my own plant, of the product. So that supermarket contains a min-max based on the pull of the customers. So that will trigger in the entire process of till to the last supply chain. But invariably, the entire supply chain is not prepared for such a fluctuations because of the lead time required to manufacture. Some of them requires very high lead time, and the process is very complex, and the planning has to happen much in advance. You can't really wait for the fluctuations. Let's say if it is going to be more than 20%, then the entire value chain collapses within no time. So my supermarket requirements, which I would have defined for 1 month inventory of raw material with supplier A, and on the finished goods components level at supplier A, I would have defined basically on the Delovisa calculations, which I would say is around 3 to 5 days time. But when the demand goes beyond 20% suddenly in a month, then this whole thing will change. So that's where we flexibly talk about adjusting. So the impact of this just-in-time philosophy, both ways it happens. When the pull is high, the system collapses, and then again you end up in paying enormous amount of money on air freights, special freights, and then special manufacturing process steps, and end up in paying almost double the cost of the component prices. So that's something which is phenomenally very high, which we have faced in the beginning of our whole just-in-time concept in implementation. So we have seen that from raw material side, they will every raw material manufacturer, starting from let's say steel manufacturing, they will insist for a rolling cycle on a minimum order quantity of 50 tons. You plan for that for a consumption of 6 months. When the demand goes and this goes into 3-month cycle, then we are finished because the lead time is not there. So you tend to risk losing an opportunity, and customers will be very unhappy, and finally you end up in huge inventory where the customer order gets cancelled. So this is on the higher side of the demand when it goes beyond certain level, threshold level. So then we talk about when business is going down, so when the business is going down below 20%, then immediately you will see the enormous amount of inventory on the raw material side and also in the finished goods component side. This is where on a dynamic basis, which is where we insist and request basically all our suppliers to dynamic basis on a daily basis, try and adjust to our pull. Our pull on the finished good sides should trigger the entire process, but still we have to take some ownership. MSME side, they are very small. They will not be able to take such ownership for everything. In the past, we were also not taking the entire ownership for the raw materials, and we had found out basically invariably, which led into huge cost and impact on the MSMEs, either in the part of huge inventory, which they were not able to really finance it, and then they went into financial pressure and huge amount of delay in deliveries. So we have taken a decision to finance it in case we do not pull, and then we have to really make sure that this finance part of it taken care on this inventories which they hold, which is excess inventory beyond certain level based on our projections, because this is something which we have to really talk about. And that's where the developed nations, they talk about 12 months rolling process of planning. Means month on month, what could be the forecast, and clearly develop a waterfall chart, with which you are able to go deeper onto data analysis. Till now, the data analysis on how the demand develops, how the inventory develops is not done. It was always manual. People use some kind of a thumb rule. Okay, right, based on this, I will work on this and I will try and order material. But now slowly the data analysis helps people to really plan material and reduce their impact on overall storages. So this is created impact on the raw material inventory. And then the second, which will create an impact, is on redundancy. Some of the raw materials, if the process changes, if the emission norm changes, for example, BS4 to BS6, BS6 to something else, some of the inventory could become redundant and you don't need it anymore. So you will end up in huge write-offs. This is also will have to be extremely focused and clear on managing this inventory in a systematic way during this changeover process. Just in time has to be really reduced to the lowest level, that we don't end up in not fulfilling the customer, making sure that the 100% we are fulfilling, at the same time that write-off is really minimized. And the labor part, when the volume goes down, automatically the MSMEs, their first process of planning is to cut the labor force. Some of the process at the end of the day, you will lose the skilled manpower. And in order to avoid that, then we ought to really have a clear contractual obligation and agreement. Okay, right. We foresee certain things for the next 3 months, but there is a chances. You ought to forecast certain things and take a risk on those things, come to some clear agreement and compensate. So this is something balanced way we ought to enable. But in spite of that, definitely there is a loss of skilled manpower. And that's where we are now focusing on what can we do to bring in automation and artificial intelligence, the processes by which we will be enabling what is called unskilling the process rather than skilling everything. So, and then the most important important part of is the quality issues. If you store for a longer period, people might end up in huge quality problems if it is not properly taken care. Inventory is just in time, but if there is a market fluctuations going beyond certain unpredicted level, then automatically you have to store for 3 months, 6 months, or could be a little longer based on the customer pull changes fluctuating. So you have to really make sure that there is a specific amount of focus is done with the MSMEs, especially if MSMEs do not have the knowledge how to store it for a longer period. So as bigger companies like Bosch have to really pay attention and help them on storages, and accordingly take care of the quality aspects and the financing for that. So this is what we do. This is not only for our local supplies to our Indian plants, this is also we do for delivering from India to outside Bosch plants elsewhere in the world. So at the moment, I'm focused basically around 42 suppliers who are exporting from India to 37 plants. And in the next 5 years, I have a clear target myself, which we have developed it and researched, that we should go ahead become a net exporter of components from India. And with enabling this means basically we have to be very, very cautious and clear about the just-in-time concept to make sure that we do not end up in huge inventory either at the Bosch plants elsewhere or in the warehouses which is set up near the Bosch plants or at supplier's place. So we'll have to manage it in a systematic way. The fluctuations definitely very high in India, but outside in Europe or in Japan where we export, the fluctuations at the moment is not beyond certain levels. They really even it out. So that helps the export part much more systematically and effectively. And the suppliers are also confident and bit focused, happily, managing this just JIT concept for the export market much more better. So they hope I could bring it out a little more clear on this.
Yes, absolutely. Cost of resources, internal and external factors, and cost of money. And so when you lock inventory, whether it is raw material or too much of finished goods, and planning that is so crucial. And and also you explained how Bosch is going about working on this and keeping your goals. So that's very encouraging, very interesting what you mentioned about Bosch also. So as an extension to that, now it's crucial that even MSMEs have to look at this and implement JIT actually to bring in more efficiency and market better. But is there a timing for the organization, for the business to look at it? Is there a maturity level that you're looking at for a MSME organization to implement? So what is your thought on that, Mr. Jayakumar, in terms of the timing of the business to do it?
So normally when we talk about this JIT process, we insist on starting from we call various stages of product development. when it comes to acquiring from an OEM customers for example, fuel injection systems, which consist of pump, injectors, filters, and electronic control units. Various elements of that. So when we acquire and we develop, starting from the phase 1, or we call quality gate 1, QG1, QG2, QG3, and it starts with the A sample, B sample, C sample. C sample is where almost the production process is fixed on a serious delivery. So the whole concept we talk about starting on the JIT starts with the serious process manufacturing itself. That means we really plan along with our suppliers, along with our manufacturing system in the plant. That means when our manufacturing team envisages very clearly, this is what my value stream going to be for manufacturing a pump 1,000 per day, starting from 1st of April 2021. And I start working 1 year in advance along with the suppliers, how the value stream with the suppliers also should be. In the process, I really define very clearly what are the manufacturing steps which we agreed together, and then what will be the batch quantity which flows from process to process. What should be the tuck time when we talk about 1,200 or 1,000 per day, and what will be the critical process in this, a pacemaker process, what we call, and then define the pacemaker processes and clearly set up the entire value stream with the suppliers, envisage before even the machine comes. That means just in time philosophy, and the planning starts 1 year in advance before the SOP starts. Some of the cases we start even little earlier, 1.5 years in advance, based on the need. And this before the machine arrives, before the actual part produces, we work on this. It could be it is on the whiteboard, and we align on. After we align on this just-in-time concept, we end up with a clear supermarket on what will be the minimum and maximum inventory should be, and how we want really getting into the Kanban pull from the plant side. Acquiring customer A, and we have to envisage and plan forecast for in the similar range for many other customers in India. Finally, what would be the likely volume plan for that volume, end up defining the entire value stream for that volume. So the just-in-time concept starts, planning phase starts in C sample stage, and starting from SOP, it is fully implemented. This is how we do for almost starting from BS3 onwards with various products what we have introduced in the market. Before BS3, which goes on to our tractor off-highway applications, which is not yet completely done. But on BS3 onwards, we have gone into the such a systematic with every component industry, every MSME we collaborate, we bring the system. So the earliest possible should be done in order to make sure that the process is stable and focused on customer orders with a higher level of OEE. When you start OEE when I talk about original equipment efficiency, we talk about starting at the stage of SOP, sample preparation, let's say 60%. Slowly, we have to work on continuous improvement to reach 85%, or the matured higher level. So look at the maturity, the best maturity level, what we have to reach, and start working on that systematically. So it starts early, and identify the pacemaker processes. Based on the volume development, we keep on redefine the pacemaker processes. Supposing the process contains starting from raw material to the final component delivery to the Bosch plant, around 25 processes. You may find around 4 or 5 processes or pacemaker processes. Clearly define a system, visibility in the entire value stream, and start getting into the daily monitoring process. So this is how basically the implementation phase starts very early. Okay, and during the after the SOP, what we call safe launch period, which is approximately 6 months, till the system stabilizes and sustainable on its own. That means 6 months, there will be continuous systematic monitoring on the entire pacemaker processes, and start pushing into the direction of continuous improvement. So at the end of the 6 months, we should have a sustainable supply chain which takes care of entire value chain to deliver on just-in-time philosophy with a clear, well-defined supermarket. So, am I clear on this point?
Absolutely. I think that was quite informative in terms of what stage of the business the MSME should look at. So actually, I think, sir, you have taken us through quite a few aspects of this JIT, right from how it originated, uh, what are the implementation issues or challenges, and what are the risks associated with this, and how to mitigate them, and then of course finally, how, at what stage, and so a lot of things. Any other thoughts or information that you think you would like to add to this from an MSME perspective, which may be useful for them?
Yeah. So in the concept of JIT, or we call Bosch Production Systems, one of the most important element which we have to add to this is scaling it up in a systematic way. Without jeopardizing the entire value chain, but you are able to scale up. This is where, if you see our neighbor Panda been successful on scaling it up from 0 to 1,000 to million on a systematic way, on a very short lead time. So the lead time to scale up without jeopardizing the entire just-in-time philosophy and maintaining the whole concept on scaling it up is very, very important. This is where I feel India still we have a way to go, wherein I see 2021 is going to be a promising year in spite of the pandemic, in spite of things are really going in a very difficult way for the health and safety of the people. The demand looks like seems to be on the positive direction, especially in the automotive industries. So with the demand going high and the capacity becoming one of those important bottlenecks, and then how do we really scale up? What is our plan on scaling it up? A lot of people are still skeptical because of this pandemic. So the risk-taking ability, whether it is pandemic or due to something else, still is quite low in the Indian MSMEs. And people are not willing to really look at it objectively on a long-term perspective. You have to really look at this as another important element when it comes to JIT, because you can't really scale up in a haphazard way, end up in spoiling the entire JIT philosophy. So you have to plan well in advance, and based on the market trend, based on the risk appetite and the support which is given by companies like Bosch or companies like Tata on various MSMEs, they have to really challenge themselves going in direction of scaling it up. Scaling it up systematically, adding up required capacities, forecasting certain opportunities, and then look for acquisition of new projects, either in the existing, higher volumes production, and keeping that sustaining the JIT concept and maintaining the quality level. Because at the end of the day, quality level with the zero defect concept has to be really ensured in every step. So scaling up is major impacting area today, which I see, which I am going through now after the March, April lockdown, which got open, unlockdown 1, unlockdown 2. When we gone through this recovery of the entire market, we initially forecasted, entire OEMs and entire industry forecasted it could be like a U curve. It will take some little more time, and unfortunately, it changed to be a V curve and recovered much higher level, almost in some of the segments like tractors, off-highway, two-wheeler industries towards to 2018 level. 2019 was a complete drop down, close to 25% market was down, and 2018 level when we reached. The industry was not ready. MSMEs were not ready. We even now going through enormous amount of preparing the suppliers, MSMEs in that direction. So scaling up becomes an important part, and then ensuring that the quality level is maintained and sustained in the JIT concept, the complete Toyota Bosch Production System processes. And also the most important part is the hiring and keeping people, with the migrant laborers all over the country moving here and there, you will find that you are not clearly having enough and sufficient skilled labor. So this is the last most important part. getting the right people on board, training them well in advance, keeping a buffer of people, and always keeping a system ready, which will help you in the COVID situation for 2021 is most important in the process. So we have to be ready, and we have to really de-skill ourselves and prepare for scaling up systematically and focus on making sure that the quality is assured. And then most important part is we have to be self-reliant. We have to reduce our import content systematically. So either linking to China or linking to any other countries with our currency, which is going towards north. We have to be prepared for that. So this is where MSMEs also have to really get into that risk appetite for all these important areas. This I feel there should be a push and pull, and it cannot be always pushed by the large industries towards down. And there should be also pull from the MSMEs. What can I do in order to really grow? What can I do to add value? What can I do to become more transparent with the new IT systems? And what can I do to automate and improve my processes and de-skill my entire process? So these are all things which we have to really focus. This is where right now I'm going through a battle, which I feel 2021 is going to be a really challenging year for me with this battle in front of me.
Excellent, Mr. Jayakumar. So implementing is one thing, but scaling, and you also touched upon self-dependence, how you can manage that. So these are the key pointers and cornerstones for implementing. So I think, Mr. Jayakumar, it's been wonderful talking to you. The whole discussion was very informative, very comprehensive, covered almost all the areas of JIT, which is critical to industry and MSME in specific. So it's been very useful, and I'm sure our viewers and the people in the industry will benefit greatly from this discussion, from the knowledge and the expertise which you shared with us. And thanks so much for your time, for taking out the time and being with us on this program, Mr. Jayakumar.